watching this video, you're probably thinking of living in Noho in Manhattan. Now, Noho stands for north of Houston Street, and it is also the neighborhood that is north of Soho. So not only is it bordering just Soho, it's also bordering the East Village, also bordering Greenwich Village. It's a very, very, very small neighborhood that a lot of people forget about at times. I also think that there is a lot of times where people are in Noho, but think that they're just in Greenwich Village. Like they don't even realize that they're in a separate neighborhood called Noho. So I think that Noho is, although it's so close to Greenwich Village and Soho, it is much quieter than both of those neighborhoods in that little bubble of Noho. So it has the perks of being next to these other neighborhoods that are very lively, but the Noho neighborhood itself is very, I would say, more quiet compared to the others. Randomly, in Noho, there are a ton of fitness centers that have been popping up there over the past couple of years. And I say a ton, which is also really ironic because the neighborhood is just so small, so it's like, how can there be a ton of fitness centers there? But if you do live in Noho, you, at least I would say, probably have no excuse not to work out. And I mean, these range from like regular gyms with like all different types of equipment to also like specialty gyms as well. So you really, there's some type of like fitness experience for everybody there. I actually think that the dining scene and cocktail scene in Noho is actually very underrated as well. Some of my favorite restaurants happen to be right there in the neighborhood. And I actually do love going there for dining and drinks. But it is a small neighborhood, so it's not like there's a ton of different places to pick from. So it just happens to be that the places that are there, I do like a lot of them a lot. And overall, because the neighborhood is close to so many other really popular neighborhoods, the subway options like around Noho are very, very good. So you're not going to really have a problem with public transportation if you live in Noho. You can always walk to a subway very quickly. So over the past 2 years, the first whiskey distillery to open up in Manhattan since the Prohibition opened up in Noho, and it's called Great Jones Distillery. You might have heard of it. It is a massive facility, literally in Noho on the street of Great Jones, and I love this place. I love the whiskey there. I love the concept. I love the food there because they also have food as well. And they also have like cocktails that aren't just whiskey too. So if you don't like whiskey, you can also find something else there as well. I really, really recommend going there and making like evening out of it because it's really cool to see the whole production of the whiskey while also being able to like dine there and enjoy like the actual like good food and drinks that they have to offer. So another thing to consider with Noho is it is a landlocked neighborhood, and what I mean by that is that it is not a waterfront neighborhood. You have to walk through other neighborhoods to get to the waterfront. Now, some people don't care about that, but other people, that's like a big deal for them. So I just want you to think about what type of person you are and if that would matter to you or not. As you can tell, I do like Noho, and I do recommend it to people who like to be near the action, but then at the same time kind of like to be on a little bit more quieter blocks than having all of the bars and restaurants right on top of you. Now, like I said, there are bars and restaurants in Noho. However, they're a little bit more subtle, and it's not like an extreme late night scene in the direct neighborhood of Noho. But you can go to the surrounding neighborhoods and find that there. And I mean direct neighborhoods as in like walking distance. You can literally walk to late night dining and late night bar scenes. So I think that if you like that but don't want to be on top of it, Noho could be a really good option for you. And also, if you're commuting to another neighborhood within Manhattan, Noho has really good public transportation. So you can get to a subway very quickly in Noho, so that makes it easy to kind of commute to other neighborhoods. So overall, I really do like Noho. Now, I try never to really share my personal preferences because I think that everyone should be able to make a decision for themselves, because picking the neighborhood that you're going to live in is probably one of the most important decisions you're going to make in New York City. Now, I would love for you guys to share your opinions on Noho and if you would ever even consider living in Noho, because as always, I love hearing from you guys.